Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Henry Kramer, 605 Chaser, coming to you live from the studio. We'll give a few moments for people to join in, and then we'll be right with you. So just hang tight, folks. We will be right with you here. We'll get started very shortly. Hang tight. All right, folks, welcome to the show. This is a live studio update with some severe weather as well as some wintry weather. I want to give a latest update that we have from all the NOAA, basically the National Weather Service, Weather Prediction Center, and SPC, which would be the Storm Prediction Center, all of that information. Let's go ahead and go to that information right away here so that we have all that information. Get the right one popped up here. For South Dakota, I wanted to point out what we've got going on over the next couple of days. Is an inch to an inch and a half of rainfall. As you can see, rain chances return to the region Monday. Locally moderate to heavy rain. Rain ends Tuesday. Um, the winds are going to continue to increase Monday night with wind gusts 45 to 50 plus, depending on some areas may end up being bigger or a larger amount of an increased amount of wind. The wind chills drop into the teens and single digits Tuesday night and then Wednesday. Snow is possible for midweek, but confidence in accumulation is very low. Now, the areas to the north of Highway 14, so like the Huron area, we'll take a look at that here in a little bit and get that information from Aberdeen's National Weather Service office as well to see what their likelihood is. But that would probably be the area there, as well as Watertown could most likely see some of that snowfall. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the rest of this information. Precipitation timing, as you can see there on the 18th, we have areas like Sioux Falls. We're expecting to have the rain start around somewhere around noon. And then there it is. Rain ends Tuesday morning, likely switches to snow for at least the U.S. Highway 14 corridor. Localized ponding of water is expected, but widespread flooding is unlikely. So that's good. And then as far as snowfall, there is some chances there. It's going to be a little tough for me to increase this zoom on here without losing a lot of this, but I'll read it off basically. It's the best that I could do at this point. kind of threw this together. Potential for flooding is extremely low, and then we do have some areas like Brookings around 6 p.m. that has a low chance, but still a chance, as well as Huron for some of that wintry mix around 6 p.m. on Tuesday. Otherwise, tomorrow it's going to be major rain event, and then eventually Tuesday night into Wednesday, turning into a little bit of a snowy event. And then here comes those winds, the timing of the winds. This obviously could fluctuate just a little bit, but this is the latest information that we have from Sioux Falls National Weather Service. The next update is going to be tomorrow morning. And so I wanted to bring this latest information to you guys as quickly as I possibly could. So we do have the winds going to switch off, as I said in this morning's weather forecast for Sioux Falls area. I did say that we were going to end up seeing those significant winds once it switches over to the northwesterly winds. Those are going to really pick up. And there it is, Chamberlain, close to 60-mile-an-hour winds for wind gusts on November 20th around noon. Mitchell area, definitely going to feel those impacts. 52, 58, somewhere around there. So if you have any plans on Wednesday at 9 a.m. and have those northwesterly winds, that's going to be significant impact. And if snow should happen to greet us at all around that time, if it does happen to switch over sooner rather than later, that could really have some travel impacts to your visibility with even a dusting of a snow. You imagine 50 to 60-mile-an-hour winds kicking that up quite a bit. That could really cause issues. There's the dangerous wind chills. Here we go. So Wednesday is the significant part about it. Teens for wind chills that are ahead. And then Thursday, continuing teens for the wind chills. Coldest wind chills expected Tuesday night and Wednesday night. And the confidence in those wind chills are significantly high. The next thing, why so much uncertainty with the snow? Well, there's low confidence, large spread in model solutions. So you've seen me talk about this for probably the last week here almost, it seems like. There was some models, the GFS was really ramping it up. Some were showing Mitchell area could get close to 15 inches. Well, obviously, there's going to be a large spread. And I'll show you some of the weather models, the latest that they have. It's not a whole lot of confidence in it because this system is quite complex. And so it's going to change even up to 24 hours before this event occurs. So the confidence isn't that great. Areas like Sioux Falls, probability of a greater than an inch is about 30%. Madison, 62%. And as you can see, as you get farther up, like in Watertown and areas of Highway 14 over there by Huron, South Dakota, that ends up being like the 70 to 80%. So a little bit farther north that you go, the greater probability of over an inch of snowfall. But again, with those winds, it's really going to make it wreak havoc. So hopefully since tomorrow is when the rain is really going to begin, hopefully you have already prepared for the heavy rain, got your gutters cleaned out, ensure storm drains are free of any obstructions, and then of course check your sump pumps. Not that we're expecting um, significant, an inch to an inch and a half in most areas is going to still be pretty crazy, especially when you're talking about it being November. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at one other information that we have. This is going to be the information that we have from the Storm Prediction Center, or Weather Prediction Center rather. And this is going to show you a larger map. There is a swath of the QPF. This is a quantitative precipitation forecast. And you can see down in southern plains, we certainly have areas of 1.75 to 2 inches, all the way up to like 4 or 5 inches in the extreme northwestern portion of Texas. That's for today, or I should say tomorrow rather, into the 19th, into Tuesday. And then day 2, we do have the southern Dixie Alley there going to have those significant moisture there as well. And then we do also see the moisture up into most of Minnesota as well as Wisconsin area and the upper Great Lakes. So I don't want to go too far out, but let's also take a look at day 3 because we do have that other system that's expected to push from the Pacific Northwest into areas of the plains over the course of the days. There's obviously, looking at this, it's a little difficult because it's so far out to have a pick of that, but I do believe that this Pacific Northwest system is going to disrupt some weather again in the plains area. Let's go ahead and take a look at the risks for excessive rainfall. We're talking about that for basically tomorrow into Tuesday. That's slight risk. Day 2 we do have, which would be tomorrow into the 19th. That is a marginal risk as well for excessive rainfall. Let's go ahead and take a look at the winter weather for day 2. That wintry weather is up in North Dakota, and this is where the probability is of greater than 4 inches. So you can see not too bad. So the probability is around 40% the farther north you go into North Dakota. Not significant by any means. Let's not show you that because that's really not going to help a whole lot. Let's go to the winter storm severity calendar or document here. The 1 to 3 day outlook, overall impacts, maximum impact from any of the components. So as you can see on the right, moderate impacts are expected over the next 1 to 3 days in areas of extreme northern South Dakota. So areas like Aberdeen, as well as, get this, Edmonds County, also areas of McPherson County, Campbell County, and into central part of South Dakota, north central part of South Dakota as well. You can certainly see the moderate impacts to travel, and that is primarily because there's going to be blowing snow. Let's go ahead and take a look at the blowing snow factor. That alone is what's driving it. Ground blizzard conditions, that's going to be minor, thankfully. And then the snow amounts, really not much of an impact because it's not going to be a significant amount of snowfall, but still snow nonetheless. Let's go ahead and take a look at ice accumulations. Really not expecting any impacts for that. That's good. And don't need to worry about that. Let's go ahead and look at snow probability hazards, risk of heavy snow. Where is that happening in the entire U.S.? This was updated as of 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. Oh, actually, let's refresh this. This was updated on the 15th. So this is an old document. So CPC does not have a later one updated. That's quite surprising. Let's make sure that that is not updated here. Yeah, it is not updated. That's surprising. Yeah, okay. So that is not updated at all yet. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at some of the snowfall totals based on GFS model. I do want to bring that up here. So the GFS model through the 24th of November, this would be 24-hour snowfall totals, I believe. Let's take a look. I was looking at this. 24-hour snowfall totals. As you can see, some of those areas seeing 7 inches. Let me go ahead and bring this a little bit higher up so that you can see it. Go to some regions here, north central South Dakota, north central part of the U.S. You can see the numbers there. Zoom back out here a little bit. So that you can see the rest of South Dakota and Minnesota. As you can see, This is including sleet, assuming 10-to-1 snow liquid ratio, which is typical. And between now, let's go ahead and actually get a total snowfall. Okay, so these are, this is the GFS between now and Monday the 25th. Let's go ahead and not include this weekend's potential, this coming weekend's potential. So let's just go ahead and go through um, through Friday. So areas up here in Aberdeen area, you can expect close to 3 inches. That's pretty significantly, I think that's an outlier there. I believe it's going to be 1 to 2 inches at most, but it'll definitely be windy. Let's go ahead and take a look at the mesoscale. Let's look at NAM 12K. We should have some information with regards to total snowfall there. I want to show you guys this. Let me go ahead and zoom that back out. And that's going only out to 3 p.m. on the 18th, so that is not going to work for us. Let's go ahead and take a look at, we'll have to take a look at HRRR. Nope, that will not work. All right, so I'm going to have to look at ECM WF and see if that gives us any indication of thermodynamics. All right. We don't have anything that's available other than the GFS. So really that's the tough part. It's having a hard time getting all that information available. Let's go ahead and take a look at radar rain freeze. So here's kind of a composite reflective what the radar might end up looking like. November 23rd, that's going out quite a ways, but I wanted to show you this system that we expect the following weekend, basically the weekend right before Thanksgiving. We do have another Great Lakes system possibly moving through, so that's what we got to be worried about a little bit. Let's go ahead and go to Radar Omega so that we could show you all that information here. We have a few things that are going on right now. We do have high wind watch that's in play here. That is actually going to be in effect from late Monday night through Wednesday afternoon, because those winds could be exceeding 60 mile or up to 60 miles an hour. So it's going to be definitely interesting to see how that goes. We zoom out here and we've got lots of things going on. We have a winter weather advisory in areas of extreme western Montana, as well as majority of northern and central part of Idaho. And then we have this system out here over in Oregon and Washington that's already starting to bring some snow. Let's go ahead and go to our winter weather radar. You can see it's switching over there already up by Mount Hood National Forest, as well as Mount Rainier National Park. We got that winter storm warning, and that is 6 to 12 inches of snowfall. Of course, that is in greater elevations that are above 2,000 feet. So it's up in the mountains area. And then we also have a winter storm warning for that area in Idaho, extreme northern Idaho, because of the mountains up there. If we take a look into the Kansas area, we've got a wind advisory already there. That's from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on Monday. Again, lots of wind is going to be with this system. And we have the wind down here, wind advisories as well. Up to 55 mile an hour expected. I expect these to go to a high wind warning. Both of these, that's why they typically issue an advisory. Advisory is typically farther than 24 hours out, and then once it's less than 24 hours, they typically end up having that. go to a warning if it comes to, if that event does actually um, come true. So we do see areas of Texas already getting a fair amount of rain. Let's go ahead and bring the high resolution reflective on. This is a live look at the radar there. You're starting to see some of those higher amounts of showers showing up. If we take a look at the DBZ on there, we'll be able to show you that. 37, 36, 39. So heavier bands are starting to come through. Nothing significant yet, but that will certainly change overnight hours. And we do already have flash flood watches expected here, and warnings are expected later on. 1 to 3 inches are likely with locally higher amounts. Several hours of showers going to be continually going over the same areas from 6 p.m. Central Standard Time this evening through Monday afternoon. So that's why they already have those. And we do have additional flooding that's expected here in the New Orleans area. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek. Sorry I'm bouncing all over the place, folks, but we've got a lot to go through. Let's go ahead and give you a look at the NAM 12K on here and see if that gives us an idea where things are expected to be. All right, this just went through an update. That might have been why that one was not able to get everything that I needed. So let's go back to 18Z. That would have been 3 p.m. update today. So as you can see, the timing of that around 2 p.m. really starts to get a heavier band of rain in Sioux Falls area, and then out in western South Dakota, a few blips of snowfall. You can see the blue there, and then extreme western North Dakota and northern North Dakota. That's where that snowfall comes through. Get a little bit of the mixing going on into areas north of Watertown, so near Webster and Sisseton by noontime on the 19th. But let's go ahead and take a look at the big picture here. I want to show you what's stirring all this stuff up. I'm going to look at the ECMWF, which is another weather model that we can take a look at. This was updated as of this morning, but I want to show you the 500 millibar wind. That kind of helps us see where exactly the fronts are and where these systems are. And you'll be able to see this deep dive right in here off of the Pacific Northwest. That is going to be what our system is coming through. And this actually will end up, there's two systems. There's one off into the Pacific Northwest, okay, dominating high pressure here yet. Okay, that was, and then we do have all of the fun wind happening on the 18th, 19th time frame, and then stirring up right there. We do have another system on the 19th that wreaks havoc right here. That's where all that rain is continuing and eventually pushing off into Pacific or into the northeast part of the U.S. that will have some lake effect snow in areas of Detroit, Ohio, and all that. But you can see this deep, I'll draw it here for you because it's pretty prevalent. That's a deep low pressure spinning, actually. You can see it right there. Um, pretty, pretty crazy to see that. Lots of wind with this system as it deep dives in there. And then the 20th, you can see where that's the significant amount of not snow necessarily, but where you can see the wind. Let's go ahead and close this off, and I'll actually bring in the 10-meter wind speed, so you have a pretty good idea where these gusts are. Bear with me one moment. All right, you can see the pinkish, that's where these gusts are. I'll put the data on there. So that's the 29 mile per hour gusts. Well, actually, these are consistent, and that's 10 meters off of the surface. So a little bit higher up, but this is just one model. If we take a look at the GFS, and take a look at, I don't know if this one's got the 2-meter wind. I don't believe so. So we would have to look at AM12K to take a look at the wind, 2-meter, 10-meter wind speed. One of them's got the surface winds. I'm just trying to remember which one it is. Oh well, not a huge deal. Pixely now. Let's go ahead and take a look at HRRR because I do want to take a look at what's going on with regards to that severe weather in areas of Texas. Okay. So as you can see right there in Houston area and even over into areas that are south of Lubbock, over in the Midland area, those areas are expecting to see some tornado activity. Areas that are southeast of Lubbock, so Sweetwater, Abilene, San Angelo, those areas would be an area of concern. Let's take a look at SPC information so that we can see where that is. So we do have that 5% risk area right in here in the brown shaded section. That is where we do expect to see a number of tornadoes possible. If we take a quick peek at the wind factor, there is a hatched area for Wichita Falls, Lawton, Oklahoma, Burnett, Texas, and Vernon. That would be right in this section here. Significant impact. And let's go ahead and go back to the hail factor. Not really anything there. Primarily because we're not expecting to have significant the elevation of those clouds are not going to be significant enough to get hail cores in them. Whereas we're going to have those spin ups because we have the bulk shear. So if we take a look at the bulk shear for that area, you can see the bulk shear. We'll go ahead and put an analysis on that. 40 to 50 knots. That is pretty significant when you're talking shear that's needed. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Cape. Surface-based Cape is something that shows the energy that is needed. So typically 1,500 joules per kilogram, but you can get some lower amounts and still end up having some tornadoes. Not a significant tornadoes, but a few spin-ups, no doubt. So as you can see, once they go into 3 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, basically overnight, there's that 900, 950 joules per kilogram. Ends up being pretty significant there. That's the best measurement right now for that. And then let's take a look at surface base CIN. CIN stands for convective inhibition number, basically. So these are pretty, oops, I got it on the storm time frame. So let's bring that back here so that we don't, it's going to give us some false numbers here. All right, so there's the ability, this is unstable environment is what that tells me right here, because those numbers are relatively low. It basically means there's little capping, if anything at all. Let's go ahead and reset a few things. I want to make sure that I get back to one of my other ones here. One moment. See if we can get back to radar omega and see the outlook for winter weather here. Sometimes this will give a better idea of what we're expecting here. So as on the other map that I showed you, it was showing the possibility of some 4-inch or greater. Let me see if there's anybody chatting in case there's some questions that people have. Nope, no questions. That's great. Thanks for sharing and thanks for continuing to like our page. We got lots that we're going through here. Let's take a look at the uh, satellite loop so you can kind of see what's really happening right now. I do want to shut all these off. It's too clouded with all this on, so bear with me one moment. And we'll shut this off here as well. And then we're not going to be able to see visibility of blue because it's night. So we're going to take a look at the United States CONUS. There we go. And we got to look at the upper level water vapor. All right. So I'm going to do this live look at this because then that way you can kind of see what's going on as far as dry air and where the moisture is. I like to educate people as much as possible on how to interpret things. So right here we have this is where our dry line is set up. Okay, these yellows. And then the green, that is our moisture. Lots of moisture up here, not necessarily that that's falling at all. And then if we move over to areas of the Pacific Northwest, we can see that deepening because we have the right here, the blue. That's the deepening of that low as it comes through Washington, Oregon, and northern parts of California and begins to dip down. This is going to be the system that starts going here and then just ramps right into this section here over the next several hours. We do have a long wave IR that we can take a look at. This gets a little bit more clouded, but basically the energy, where the energy is. Not much energy in our area because we've got a dominating high pressure. And we do have some lightning happening. This is group flash count density. So we do have that showing right now in Lubbock areas, some lightning. Marfa, Dallas even has some. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few other things. That's looking at the satellite. Let's look at the single radar so that we can kind of see where all this stuff is. Not anything significant. Lots of rain, that's for sure. Lots of rain. But let's get back to one other thing here. It's going to verify one other thing here. Okay. All right, so we're looking at this here just kind of to show you where there's high pressure. The H's there are the high pressures, snow in the white, and then we have the mixed precip that's over in kind of the purplish area for today. That was out in the northwestern part of the U.S. And then we have those severe storms possible in Texas that are going to be continuing to be ongoing, and then heavy rain, flash flooding possible in Oklahoma areas for tomorrow. And then we do start to see the mixed precipitation starting in areas that are up in South Dakota and North Dakota. We have that warm air right here and clashing with the cold front right here. And on day 3, we start seeing, which would be the 19th, we do start seeing uh, more of the heavy snow that's possible into the North Dakota area and continued mixed precipitation chances over into South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin areas. So that's the latest information that we have. We'll try and do another weather update in the morning. I can't guarantee anything, but wanted to let you know things are getting a little crazy around here. If we go further out with this model, you can kind of see where that low pressure pushes up into the 19th. And then we do see some craziness happening again, kind of following the same pattern, getting a little bit more broader over towards this next weekend, the 23rd, 24th. This is going out a long ways, and there's that Great Lakes system. And then more widespread snowfall for your Thanksgiving. Again, that is a long ways out. That's over a week. That's like 10 days out from this broadcast. So just take that with a grain of salt. There could be a lot of things that happen. Could be a high pressure that dominates a dome and ends up being closing off that system and causes it to go completely north, or it can cause it to go completely a different direction than what it is showing right now. So just be aware of those systems. Right here, what this tells me is you got the mixed precip here. Could have a significant impact because if we should happen to see Gulf moisture come up here, it's going to have a lot of moisture that it can work with. And if that cold front is able to be pretty strong enough, and depending on the timing and the placement, so many things have to come together. We could have a significant storm system, winter storm system for areas of South Dakota, Iowa, and eastern Nebraska for Thanksgiving weekend or Thanksgiving week. But again, lots could change. So I just want to make sure that you're all aware of that. Stay tuned to 605 Chaser, and thanks to our wonderful partners, Fit Revolution Nutrition, Mission Nutrition, Refuel Nutrition, all located in Sioux Falls, for fueling the energy that I have to take on the day and do the chases, whether it be in the studio or on the ground. I am definitely thankful for our wonderful sponsors that help us through getting us the fuel that we need to be able to continue bringing these live updates to